I'm Beth Burks. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for Chief Industries, and I'm here today with Wayne Garrett, the General Manager for Chief Ethanol, and we're going to discuss a little bit about all the complexities that occur within Chief Ethanol. So to kick us off today, Wayne, can you talk a little bit about the transformations that have happened at Chief Ethanol here at the Hastings plant as well as at Lexington?
Yeah, so we started this plant specifically in Hastings, started in 1985, owned by American Diversified, and Chief created Chief Ethanol in 1990. And from that point, over the next, say, 17 years, Chief went through a lot of improvements and various things throughout to really start to lay this foundation and be what we are today. One of the neat things is that when we started, it was a 10 million gallon plant, and today it's 70 million gallons. And so to see us grow 7 times that size, all while being the longest continuous running dry mill plant in the country, is quite an achievement by a lot of people over those years.
And so Hastings started in 1984, and then Chief acquired in 1990, and then Lexington, when did they come online for Chief?
So in that case, Lexington plant was started in 2006, and Chief was the opportunity in 2016 to acquire the Lexington plant. So we've had that during that time as well. Change-wise, we've just brought a lot of efficiency change and different things through that process, but overall, it's brought our total gallons produced to 125 million gallons that we produce out of both plants.
Which is really exciting, being able to increase those efficiencies. And actually, Hastings is going into their 40th year of operation, which is a pretty big milestone.
Yeah, it is. It's when you look at the ethanol industry, there's a lot of, say, 20 years. The plants are getting to about that age, which is a good accomplishment. But to realize that in Hastings we're starting our 40th year of operation is quite a testament to everybody here, even having still one operator who's been here that whole time since 1984.
So Wayne, you have had a long history here at Hastings as well as Lexington, but clearly there's challenges that come along with any business. What are some of the challenges that ethanol has faced for our plants in Hastings and Lexington?
As an industry, we faced a simple supply and demand market that occurs in a lot of markets, frankly. But in the last handful of years, it's really become how are you efficiently producing and how is that relaying to the market as a whole.
And obviously your plants run 24/7, and so you need a great team of people in order to run your plants. How has the workforce been? Are you guys full, or have you had challenges in that area?
I think with every business you have challenges. What's unique is to find the people that this is their passion. And that's the enjoyable part, is that not every job is for everybody. That's one of the things I've learned throughout my career. But as you get into a place like this, you realize that this is just for some people. And yeah, it's had its moments of challenges, and we're probably coming out of a little more difficult time for that. But as we move forward, we're confident and optimistic. There's just a lot of good people when you're in Nebraska, when you're in the rural areas. There's a lot of opportunity for us to find people that this is for them. And they appreciate even though sometimes it's kind of an odd schedule, they kind of appreciate that with giving them some other benefits one wouldn't normally think about.
And so we've had challenges with just keeping up with industry trends, new equipment, new machinery, making sure we have the right staff here. But we also have a lot of successes with that. So Wayne, I'd like to start off with talking a little bit more about what are some of all the products that Chief Ethanol produces here at our plants?
Yeah, well, clearly we start with ethanol. That's the one that everybody knows. But we get as much as we can out of that kernel of corn. As we get to the back end of this process, we get the oil that comes out of every bushel of corn that's inside the kernel, and then we get the distiller's grains. So as we get done with that mash, what's left is a feed product, and that leads us to quite a number of animal feed. So we produce about 1.6 billion pounds of animal feed annually.
That's huge. That's a huge number. Clearly we are in an agricultural economy surrounded by some of those livestock feeders, so that's a huge benefit to this area specifically. But not only does Chief Ethanol produce these different products, there's a lot of innovations coming into the industry. Can you talk about what you're looking at for the future of these innovations?
Yeah, absolutely. For one, as you mentioned this golden triangle that Nebraska's in, where we've got great corn production, we've got great ethanol production, and then we've got great feed production. But the next step of this, the one product that we haven't taken out of the kernel of corn yet, is the CO2, the carbon that comes out of the fermentation process. So it's through basic photosynthesis, it takes in oxygen, it produces carbon. We're at the perfect spot here as an ethanol plant to have that carbon released in a single place that has a high level of purity. So moving forward, we're able to capture that as a project that we're just starting as we move forward, and sequester that, and to either use that carbon that's come from the corn, or we can sequester it to try and reduce the carbon footprint in the atmosphere.
And with that, there's just so much knowledge from the industry of how to do some of these things. I know Chief as a whole, we're talking about it all the time, but we also have a lot of strategic partners that we talk about. What are some of these best practices? Who are some of our partners that we work with?
So there's just no doubt there's a large number. Obviously, when we think just from the local area, we're dealing with all the producers in both the Lexington area and the Hastings area and the greater area just for our corn supply. And so we help support corn prices in those areas. Plus, as we mentioned already, the feeders are a big partner to us. And most of our feed is going right into the local area, 50, 60 mile radius. But there's some that we do dry that mash product at the end. And that can go anywhere from a much larger trade area to even internationally.
So with some of your partners too, I know a couple partners were at Husker Harvest Days with us. Who did we have out at Husker Harvest Days? Because they were very, very knowledgeable about the industry.
Yeah, we have some great industry partners as well. We've got the Renewable Fuels Association, Renewable Fuels Nebraska, the Nebraska Ethanol Board, and the American Coalition for Ethanol. And all of those are great partners for us as an industry. They all bring something unique and different. One thing that makes Nebraska unique is we have the Nebraska Ethanol Board. We're the only state in the country who has such a board, and their purpose was founded back in the early 70s, and their purpose is to promote and educate about ethanol, and they do a wonderful job doing that. They've been a great resource to retailers at the pump, that helping them understand some of the different things they need to know to do their business well. And beyond that, we just have some great partners that do a lot of things for market development and political connections and so forth throughout the industry.
You talked about education. I know we have a partnership with the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. Can you talk a little bit about what that partnership looks like?
Yeah, so we're doing, with the American Coalition of Ethanol, we're doing a grant through the USDA. It's called an RCPP grant for the farmers to get a little extra for their farming practices for climate smart agriculture. As part of that, it's the University of Nebraska is involved with the analyzing and running a lot of the behind the scenes detail and help grading the applicants of the grant. And so we just have a number of wonderful partners that we're opportunity to work with.
With all these partners and also with all the products that ethanol is currently producing and the opportunities you have in the future, there's a lot of things going really well for the industry. So what are some of the things that you're looking forward to over the next 7 years or even 15 years as you look out into the future of what opportunities lie ahead for you?
Yeah, as we look across the spectrum into the next years ahead, there's a number of exciting opportunities, and as with any uncertainty in a market, those cause you concern as well. But as we mentioned earlier with the carbon capture and sequestration, those are good opportunities to lower our carbon footprint. Our market acceptance and just the national acceptance of E15 as a whole is there, and kudos to the state of California for looking at their process a little differently now, and they're even involved. They've been the last state holding out for E15, and here they are today that they're looking to move forward with that. So as we improve the blend rate, that helps the industry as a whole. Additionally, there's a unique study coming from the Hormel Institute that is very interesting, and when that's able to come out and be released, I think we'll all be fascinated by the results there.
And I know ethanol definitely gets into a lot of the smart farming and different climate practices. You threw a stat out one time we were talking in regards to how many cars we would replace by moving to some of these more E15 and blended fuels. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the carbon sequestration piece that we'll do, we'll send about 350,000 metric tons to sequestration or storage. And that equates to over 74,000 cars on the road today of their carbon emissions. So, we have a unique opportunity to work with the local producer to take something out of the corn that the cattle don't process quite as well, to leave a feed product, to create a clean burning fuel, and to make other differences in the environment that people want to. That's really noteworthy and unheard of, to be fair, to do all of these things and to do it that well. And even our how much energy we consume versus the energy we produce, those numbers are impressive as well. So just across the board, ethanol is just an amazing product.
There is so much to look forward to. We are so excited to see what the next chapter holds for Chief Ethanol. So thank you so much, Wayne, for spending your time with us today, and we can't wait to see the success in the future.